Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. I was just sickened by this latest headline, and I was so glad Christopher Melcher was available. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad to be here. Again, just love the channel, love the community. I'm definitely looking at comments, and I appreciate the engagement and interest that everyone has on these stories. So love being here today.
They love you, and get excited. Chris is in our trailer, which he just got a sneak peek of. It's looking good, huh, Chris? Not giving it away. It looks good, doesn't it?
You know, this is, you've really gotten good at this stuff with your team, and it's so professionally done, and I'm excited to watch.
The way you hear Chris's soundbite, he's spot on as always. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this because this just upset me, Chris. I know you're going to give us a little bit of good news in that she's running on fumes. This is not as good as she thinks it is. But what I found so sickening, there's two topics I want to talk about. This and obviously the other one where Blake's still trying to claim she is going to be able to get emotional distress. We're going to talk about why this is so confusing and get Chris's perspective. But I want to start here because her publicist has made some quotes here that are just, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I mean, they're desperate in my point of view, but here's the quote, okay? 19 leading survivors and organizations devoted to women's rights, children's rights, and DV have now signed on to 4 separate amicus briefs. A spokesperson for Lively shared on Thursday to Us Weekly. All are united in opposing Justin Baldoni's attempt to dismantle a law designed to protect women who speak up simply to protect himself.
Blake Lively's emotional distress claims have just been flipped on their head. The truth behind her accusations is coming to light. And now, Justin Baldoni is at the center of a new controversy involving the silencing of women. What initially seemed like a straightforward celebrity legal dispute has morphed into an explosive saga that is shaking the very foundation of Hollywood's image of power and justice. For months, Blake Lively's emotional distress lawsuit made headlines, with the public sympathizing with her claims. Fans rallied behind her as she portrayed herself as the victim of a deeply painful situation. It seemed like a typical celebrity dispute, a battle for control, a fight for respect, and a fight to have her voice heard. But now, just when everyone thought the case was settled, the tides have turned. A bombshell revelation from Justin Baldoni's camp has cast doubt on Lively's entire narrative, raising serious questions about the authenticity of her claims. What seemed like a victory for Lively is now being painted as a carefully orchestrated move designed to damage Baldoni's reputation. New developments suggest that her emotional distress claims were not as solid as they appeared, and that more evidence is poised to surface, possibly damaging Lively's public persona and legal standing. What is the truth? Was there a hidden agenda behind her accusations? And why is Justin Baldoni now at the center of accusations of silencing women? In this dramatic new twist, not only is the integrity of Blake Lively's claims being questioned, but the case has opened up a larger conversation about power dynamics, influence, and manipulation in Hollywood. This revelation has the potential to completely change the public perception of both stars, and the stakes have never been higher. Join us as we take a deep dive into the latest twist of this case, uncover the shocking new evidence, and explore how this legal battle may just redefine the careers of both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The drama is far from over, and the truth behind this high-profile legal war could send shockwaves through Hollywood. Stay tuned, because the fight for justice is just beginning. Blake Lively's emotional distress lawsuit against Justin Baldoni initially seemed like a standard celebrity legal battle. The case was filed after Lively accused Baldoni of actions that led to significant emotional pain and turmoil in her personal life. According to Lively, the events surrounding her professional and personal relationship with Baldoni, which had once been positive, had turned sour. She claimed that Baldoni's actions during their time working together caused her undue stress and hardship, leading her to seek legal action for emotional distress. The lawsuit was met with widespread media attention, as Lively is one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses. The public rallied behind her, with many believing she had suffered in silence, much like many other women in Hollywood who have faced unfair treatment from powerful men. Her claim of emotional distress resonated with many who had followed the Our Me Too movement, and she quickly became a symbol for women standing up against abuse and manipulation in the entertainment industry. This case immediately captured public interest, not only because of Lively's high-profile status, but because of the growing culture of women calling out inappropriate behavior in the industry. Many fans, celebrities, and commentators expressed support for Lively, seeing her as a victim who was now standing up for herself. Lively's emotional distress claims painted her as the underdog, and the narrative surrounding her legal battle seemed to carry a sense of righteous indignation. Blake Lively's lawsuit accused Justin Baldoni of causing her emotional distress through what she described as an emotionally abusive environment. While the specifics of the lawsuit were never fully revealed, Lively's legal team painted a picture of her being subjected to actions that harmed her emotional well-being, specifically related to her interactions with Baldoni both on and off set. Lively claimed that Baldoni's behavior led to personal breakdowns, making her feel isolated and unsupported, which contributed to her emotional distress. On the other hand, Baldoni's legal team vigorously denied Lively's allegations, claiming that there was no malicious intent or actions that would warrant such a lawsuit. They emphasized the professional nature of their relationship and disputed the claim that Baldoni's actions had caused emotional harm. Baldoni himself maintained his innocence and publicly expressed shock at the lawsuit, insisting that he had always acted professionally in their shared interactions. The initial verdict, which appeared to side with Lively, led to a public outpouring of support for her. Social media was flooded with messages of encouragement, with fans and peers alike expressing their admiration for her courage in taking such a difficult stand. Critics of Baldoni were vocal in denouncing his alleged role in the situation, and some speculated that the public's perception of him as a successful and charismatic actor may have played a role in people initially siding with Lively. The media's portrayal of the case played a huge role in shaping public perception. For much of the legal proceedings, Lively was portrayed as the sympathetic victim, and Baldoni was criticized heavily. Media outlets and entertainment news programs ran stories that painted Lively as a woman who had been wronged, using language that highlighted the emotional toll the lawsuit had taken on her. Headlines reading "Blake Lively fights back against Hollywood power structures" and "Blake Lively takes a stand for women everywhere" further reinforced the narrative that Lively was a hero in this situation. Social media amplified these sentiments, with fans of Lively posting messages of solidarity. Hashtags such as "Och Justice for Blake" and "Aus Now Women Support Blake" trended online as people voiced their support for the actress. Celebrity endorsements and statements from fellow stars added to the swelling chorus of support for Lively's position. Conversely, Justin Baldoni faced a backlash. He was portrayed by some as a privileged actor who used his position to intimidate and manipulate others in the industry. Critics of Baldoni were quick to question his actions, with some even calling for him to step away from Hollywood. The media fueled this narrative, and Baldoni's personal and professional reputation came under fire, despite his continued denial of the allegations. As the case progressed, many speculated that the media frenzy surrounding it was just as impactful as the legal drama itself. The public's rush to support Lively and criticize Baldoni reflected the broader cultural moment, one where women's voices were being amplified in the entertainment industry. However, as more details began to surface and the legal situation evolved, the narrative began to shift. In a shocking twist, new revelations have cast doubt on Blake Lively's emotional distress claims, suggesting that her accusations may have been exaggerated or in some instances fabricated entirely. Recent court documents and insider testimonies have shed light on inconsistencies in Lively's narrative, challenging the legitimacy of the emotional distress case that had previously captivated the public's attention. Initially, Lively's lawsuit painted a picture of an actress wronged by a powerful man in Hollywood, but as more details emerged in the courtroom, it became apparent that some of the evidence presented by Lively's legal team may not have held up under scrutiny. According to newly uncovered court documents, Lively's emotional distress claims lacked the detailed substantiation needed to support her allegations. In fact, some of her supposed evidence was described as vague and unconvincing by legal experts, raising questions about the authenticity of her experiences. For example, one of Lively's key claims was that Baldoni's actions during their professional collaboration created a toxic environment for her. However, testimony from crew members and other professionals involved in the same projects revealed no signs of misconduct or unprofessional behavior on Baldoni's part. These discrepancies in her accusations began to unravel her case, making it appear less like a case of emotional distress and more like a strategic move to gain leverage in the public eye. While Lively's team tried to dismiss these inconsistencies, the damage to her credibility was already done. This bombshell revelation has led many to reconsider the initial outpouring of sympathy that Lively received. Was she truly a victim of emotional distress, or had she fabricated parts of her story in an attempt to gain public support? This new development is a game changer, casting doubt on Lively's entire narrative and turning the public spotlight toward her alleged misrepresentations. Blake Lively's emotional distress lawsuit was not the only claim that garnered attention. As the case progressed, Lively also accused Justin Baldoni of attempting to silence women in Hollywood, alleging that he used his industry influence to intimidate female voices, particularly those who spoke out about their experiences working with him. Lively's legal team painted Baldoni as a man who had manipulated the power dynamics in the entertainment industry to keep women quiet, particularly those who might have had negative experiences with him. According to Lively's lawyers, Baldoni's behavior was part of a larger culture of silencing women in Hollywood, particularly in the entertainment industry's more elite circles. Lively claimed that Baldoni used his professional connections and his stature as a well-known actor to force women into silence, effectively preventing them from speaking out about alleged misconduct or unfair treatment. However, this accusation became increasingly questionable as the case wore on. Legal experts and public critics alike began to scrutinize the validity of these claims. No concrete evidence was presented to support Lively's assertion that Baldoni was actively trying to suppress women's voices. Instead, several testimonies emerged that painted Baldoni as a professional, collaborative figure who respected the voices of those around him. These included statements from women who had worked closely with Baldoni on set and who spoke to his positive behavior and willingness to listen to female colleagues. As a result, Lively's accusations began to backfire. Rather than positioning Baldoni as the villain of the story, they raised questions about Lively's motivations for making such serious claims without solid backing. Could it be that she was simply trying to paint Baldoni in a negative light to support her emotional distress claims? Was this another attempt at manipulation in a legal battle where the stakes were growing higher by the day? The legal world has been rocked by these new developments as the case takes on a new, more complex dimension. The accusations against Lively have sparked heated debates among legal experts, who are now questioning whether her legal strategy was ethical in light of the inconsistencies in her claims. Some have suggested that Lively's legal team might have been using tactics that played on public sympathies, painting her as a victim without the necessary legal foundation to back her accusations. This strategy, however, has now put the integrity of her case at risk, potentially setting her up for a significant loss in court. Public reaction has also been mixed. While Lively initially received widespread support from her fans and the general public, the new revelations have led many to rethink their stance. Social media users have been particularly vocal, with some calling for greater transparency in legal cases involving celebrities, especially when accusations of silencing women are involved. Others, however, feel betrayed by Lively's alleged misrepresentation of the truth, questioning whether she exploited the Not Me Too movement for personal gain. Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, has firmly denied all accusations and has used these new revelations to strengthen his defense. His legal team has argued that the evidence presented against him is flawed and that Lively's emotional distress claims were based on fabricated or exaggerated facts. In a statement, Baldoni's team declared that they would pursue legal action for defamation as the newly uncovered evidence casts a shadow on Lively's integrity. Baldoni's response is a clear indication that he is prepared for a prolonged battle, not only in court, but also in the court of public opinion. As the case continues, the spotlight is shifting more onto Lively's character and credibility, while Baldoni is working to clear his name. The legal drama surrounding this case is far from over, and the ramifications of these new claims will likely resonate within Hollywood for years to come. Blake Lively's emotional distress lawsuit against Justin Baldoni is quickly transforming from a simple celebrity legal case into a complex and controversial drama. As new evidence emerges and the public's perception of Lively's credibility is called into question, the fallout from this case will no doubt have far-reaching consequences for both stars. As fans and critics alike await the next chapter, in this saga, one thing is clear. The truth is far from being fully revealed, and this case is only going to get more explosive.